Yes, there are many stories in the day when we have talk about misbehavior on the part of the Republicans, especially at the national level. And yes, there's some folks on the local level that are try to pass some odious laws and do some terrible things. Okay, but I do tell you from time to time that there are also great Republicans at the local level and at the state level. At the national level, those guys are almost completely corrupted by money. And so when I tell you there's some good Republicans locally, I think that you might think, really? There's a lot of bad stories out there. Well, let me give you a good story and remind you of what folks are capable of. Now, the story doesn't start positively. It starts in North Carolina. You remember McCullough lost. He was the governor. He's the one who passed. He was obsessed with transgender people going into the right or wrong bathrooms, which has happened, 3 times in the history of North Carolina? Anyway, it was all about values, the value of hatred, the other, right? Well, good news for North Carolina. North Carolina, God bless, in the South, and said, no, we don't want McCrory. Costs us a lot of money. That's not the values we believe in. So they throw him out of office and they bring in Cooper, who's now the Democratic governor of North Carolina. And so what do the local Republican legislators do? They immediately basically do a coup and try to take away all the governor's powers. So as part of that, what they did was North Carolina now has always had a mandatory retirement age for judges. Now, to prevent the Democratic Party governor from appointing replacements for Court of Appeals judges nearing forced retirement, the Republican legislature passed a bill to shrink the size of the courts from 15 to 12 judges, thereby denying the Democrat of the 3 scheduled appointments. Okay, well, that's a dirty trick. So they unpacked the court. They said, the bench is supposed to have 15? Who cares? We're changing the law because there's a Democrat and we don't want him to have any power. So democracy, rules, laws, who cares? Just change the rules, change the rules, because all we care about partisanship, okay? Now that's unfortunately the legislators, okay? But there was a principal Republican by the name of Judge McCullough who's already on the bench. Now he's supposed to retire, but when he does, oops, because of the new law that the Republican legislators are going to pass, the Democratic governor cannot put a new judge in his place. Well, you know what Judge McCullough did? He resigned 36 days prior to his forced retirement. Now, understand, Judge McCullough, definitely a Republican, worked as a staffer for Senator Harrison Schmitt, Republican of New Mexico, before being appointed by President Ronald Reagan as United States Attorney in Eastern District of North Carolina. So why did J. Douglas McCullough step down to make sure that the Democratic governor can appoint a nominee? He said, quote, it's just 3 sentences, let me give you one of them in his resignation letter. I did not want my legacy to be the elimination of a seat and the impairment of a court that I have served on. Now that's a man of principle. And I'm telling you right now, there are good Republicans out there in the country. Now, he's a judge, so he's not involved in this corrupted political system as much. And the more you stay in that corrupted system, the more you become part of that establishment, the more you dial for dollars, and the dirtier and dirtier that pool gets. But Judge McCullough was above that pool, and he said, no, that it's not the right thing to do, even if it's the Republicans doing it. You're not supposed to eliminate these positions for judges. And so he stepped down early, and the new Democratic governor was able to put in his nominee into that position instead. And the new judge, by the way, also happens to be a gay American. So that probably stung the Republican legislators in North Carolina a little bit more. But God bless Judge McCullough for actually having principles. The real resistance is fighting against Trump and the establishment. Help us get investigative reporters that are going to investigate both of them. TYTnetwork.com/go.